Welcome to Taste. I'm your host, Kelly Kim. Every week, I give you a taste of the on-chain future via mouth-watering conversations with the pioneers building it. Today, I'm excited and nervous to serve you our pilot episode with my friend Francesco Renzi, who I met at the beginning of this year in Buenos Aires. Fran also happens to be the co-founder and CEO of Superfluid and Alfafrens. Superfluid is a protocol that lets you stream money, and Alfafrens is a recently viral SocialFi app upon the Farcaster protocol. In this chat, we focus mainly on Alfafrens. We talk about decisions that led to Alfafrens' success today, like migrating to Farcaster or integrating degen as their main token, and why not, if not, when, lens integration. We then move on to the building itself, why Alfafrens is a PWA rather than a native mobile app, and the differences between building a protocol and a social app. Lastly, Fran shares some alpha on how to get started, how to maybe get rich, and how to make friends on Alfafrens. Disclaimer: none of the information provided in this podcast is financial advice. Trust me, I would not be here, but instead very offline on a boat in the middle of a clear blue body of water. Crypto is fun, but requires a lot of your own due diligence and care. Alright, now that that's over and done with, I hope you enjoy consuming this episode as much as I enjoyed cooking it. Alright, and we are live. Okay, not gonna lie, I'm a little nervous. It's been a while. I feel rusty. Francesco, how are you?
Sleep deprived and excited to be on a podcast.
Wow, if that doesn't reflect every single person in crypto right now, yeah. Where are you currently? Where are you calling from? What time is it?
It's the morning. I'm calling from Los Angeles. I was here for FarCon, the Farcaster conference, which happened in Venice Beach a few weeks ago, and just decided to stick around. But all my team's in Europe, so I have to wake up very early to overlap with them, and doesn't always work out very well. But here we are.
That sounds very painful. Curious, after FarCon, were you more purple-pilled or less purple-pilled?
Definitely more purple pilled. FarCon reminded me of ETH Berlin 2019. So in ETH Berlin 2019 was probably the last time I went to a conference where there were a lot more builders than shills, a lot more builders than kind of BD people, marketing people, And FarCon was a bit like that. Like everybody was building. There was a lot of excitement, and everyone were also users. So people were, there's a point where most of the builders are also users. And then, people start diverging, right? Because the builders get too busy to start using the products, and then you start having a lot more users who are not builders, right? But here there was just like kind of the perfect energy around that, and made me very bullish because ultimately I think with these kinds of protocols, you need a lot of smart builders making fun stuff, and then users come. And in Farcaster, users really, really, come, and it's very easy to distribute products there. So yeah, got a lot of interesting ideas, and onboarded a lot of people to Alfafrens as well.
Okay, sounds juicy and delicious. And it's interesting that you mention, it's like the perfect balance of builders and users. I feel like that's something that Farcaster as a protocol did really, really well. They, really created the space for building. And like you said, when you get really smart people just kind of like fucking around doing fun things, it's the best of both worlds. It's like intellectual fun time. And that's why we're all here, to be honest. Why else?
Exactly. And I think Farcaster cracked that in a few different ways by, on one hand, doing very little. Like, there's not that much you can do with Farcaster, right? And the main thing is just taking the IDs and, the social graph, getting access to the social graph. But then the, frames are this kind of really cool thing where, you have this kind of minimal programmable space, right? Like super constrained. You can just all you can do is post an image and 4 buttons, right? And people are like, an image and 4 buttons. Let me go crazy, building. incredible experiences through it. And yeah, I'm super excited about it. I've seen so many cool stuff. There's so many cool things people are building, and yeah, we're in English.
Yeah, I remember when Frames came out, everyone was jumping on, but then like you kind of zoom out into the macro and you're like, okay, there is literally no other reason that people would get excited by this, like other than they are like where we are and have been like building and using for us some time. And this is like new for us, like a frame with four buttons. But I like that.
I mean,
I like
I
that.
think we
I
got
like that
excited
we
about frames. Like we got excited about frames because suddenly it was easy to build in crypto, you know. Because guess what? Frames are not crypto, they're just backend. We're kind of tricking ourselves into thinking it's like decentralized.
yeah.
But yeah, it was fun.
It's cute. I hope we like never get away from that obsessing and getting excited over the littlest things on the new internet, right? But I don't know how we ended up here, but for anyone listening who has never heard of Farcaster frames and all that jazz, this is the classic sort of like if you know you know moment that I want to elicit in the series. Go Google it. That's what I would say.
Yeah, read the manual.
So yeah, read the manual exactly. Okay. Well, we're actually here to, I guess, talk about Alfafrens. I think the perfect place to get into that conversation is to start with Superfluid. I mean, you are the founder and CEO of Superfluid. Tell us, what's your story? How did it bring you to Superfluid? And yeah, let's start from there.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Francesco. I'm, as you said, the founder and CEO of Superfluid. I started my journey in crypto in 2017. Worked for an ICO, which luckily didn't launch. After that, started working with my current CTO and business partner, and we built some very, very early DeFi products. I was saying before, like in 2019, right? So when there were like four, five protocols out there. And we came up with the idea for Superfluid and basically started working on it in 2020. So we announced it publicly in 2020 and released um, the first kind of deployment in 2021. So, we're a fairly old protocol and, it's been a long time. Like we've been working at this for a long time. So what Superfluid does is, I mean, we have this very crazy. So I think founders basically like, some founders are just kind of trying to sell donuts faster, right? And that's great. And then tech founders, in a lot of cases, kind of have a certain vision for what the future should look like, right? And try to get to that vision, right? And that's what their company is about. So in the case of Superfluid, our vision for the future is to evolve the technology of money and bring it beyond where it is right now. So right now, money has pretty much always worked the same way. The way I describe that usually is, you have money and you give someone money, and that's how money works, right? And what I said right now is completely obvious because we all know how money works, right? That's how money works. But what
Mhm.
we do at Superfluid is actually a bit different. So it's still money, but it doesn't work like that. And that is a big behavior that we're trying to kind of introduce. And we solve it technically, but it's a bit harder to solve the UX and the kind of the mental model. But basically, what you can do with Superfluid is create tokens or money, right? Tokens, money, whatever, that can be streamed. So streaming is basically this idea that instead of making a one-off transfer that happens right now instantaneously, where I give you $100, right? Stream is where I send you money over time. So rather than thinking of money as these kinds of buckets of liquidity, you think of it as flow of liquidity, right? So I send you a $1 cent a second, right? And this kind of just flows automatically to your account. And, it changes kind of the way you think about money from like, again, lump sums to almost bandwidth or availability to flow, right? Cash flows, right? So it's a very different way of thinking about it. It's so different, and money is so ingrained in the way the way we use money is so ingrained in a lot of aspects of our life that even just knowing how to account this stuff is really hard. But we've been live for 3 years. We pay a lot of our team using streams. A lot of teams out there use Superfluid to pay their teams in streams. So a lot of people are already, participating in kind of this streaming money for salaries. Let's say, version of the future, as you were saying before. But basically, what we realized, I mean, we were building this for a long time. We onboarded a lot of people in our ecosystem to build with us, but for 3 years, basically, we never saw anyone build a UX that really, really drove home that version of the future and drove home that UX and that experience to people. So a lot of people would receive their salary using Superfluid, but it wasn't enough to change their mental model about, oh, wait, money can be fluid, right? Because maybe they only had one stream, right? And where Superfluid is very exciting is when you have a lot of streams, right? You're paying all your bills, you're receiving all of your different passive income, right? And you're receiving all of those cash flows in real time, and they're all flowing. That's where Superfluid is exciting. So we needed to kind of find a way to create that experience in a crypto native space, right? Because we realized it's going to take a while before we can get a business to start operating purely on streamed money, right?
Yeah.
So we started thinking about potentially, different kinds of more light use cases, right? So gaming, for example. And then roughly at the same time as we were having these conversations internally, FranTech happened. And, when we saw FranTech, we were very excited. Not so much from the mechanism. Like, the mechanism is quite boring, really. You have to trade keys as, you get front run, they're very expensive. Like, it's not very inclusive mechanism. But we were very excited by the progressive web app approach with the embedded wallet, right? The fact that you basically had a very, very simple onboarding. You could onboard users from a centralized exchange. They never need to have MetaMask, right? So suddenly you can give them this Web3 experience without needing to give them a seed phrase. And that was just like mind blowing. So we decided to build a social app, started to look at how we could potentially do that with Superfluid, and basically, started looking at existing models, things like Patreon, different kind of platforms like that. And eventually landed on the model for Alfafrens. So here we are. The jump to Farcaster is very recent, but the model has been something we're thinking about for a long time.
That's quite the journey. I want to go back to, like, I guess I'll just give my 2 cents on Superfluid. I think it's super interesting that, I mean, like most people to do with like actual cryptocurrency in the industry, they always talk about like, let's unbank the world, like let's unbank the next billion. And like when they say that, I think they're more like alluding to the fact that they want to change the type of money that people transact and deal with. But sounds like, I mean, you guys have gone that step further, like you're saying like now people have this different type of money, but hey, let's actually change like how they money. That's like a whole other like layer.
Exactly.
It's a hard, like, I don't know, from where I am, it's a really hard, I guess, like problem and journey. Hey, you guys have stuck it out for 3 years, and right now things are starting to kind of click now that we have better UX. More people are onboarded, I guess, unofficially or officially. So it's a fun time, and
totally.
Now it's the time for apps like Alfafrens.
But no, like you're actually right. Like, it's the first time I built anything in tech. Like, I'm not a first time founder. I built stuff before, but not in tech, right? So I built companies, but not in tech. And one thing I've come to understand is that innovation's great, but you kind of have to do one innovation at a time. And I think with Superfluid, we were really trying to do too much innovation at the same time, and that becomes very hard to distribute, right? Because one thing is building the tech, like we built really cool tech, but then, if it's too out there, no one's going to use it, right? And what was the missing link for us was between this really cool tech and vision of the future and something I could like literally onboard anyone to. Right. And like you said, right, like most people agree with that vision of the future, right? Everybody says, oh, yeah, I would love to get paid every second. right? Why do I have to get paid every month? I would love to get paid every second, right? Why is the money accumulating somewhere, waiting, gathering dust instead of streaming around, right? That makes a lot of sense. But it's too complicated and, there are too many moving parts, so forget that. But with Alfafrens, we finally found a use case where I can literally onboard anyone in 2 minutes. In 2 minutes, they're in the app, using it, opening streams, receiving streams. Like I did this at 50 times during the pre-days of Farcon, and that is so different. And suddenly people are
Yeah.
like, wait, this is all streaming? What does that mean? So wait, I'm making money every second, it's just a completely different level of excitement. So yeah, it's been great launching this product.
That's exciting for you and the user. Like in this day and age, when someone like realizes that they're getting paid instantly just after signing on, that's super sticky. Yeah, I mean, I saw you guys got DApp of the month. I think it was on Degen
Yeah,
Picks.
on the Gen
Half
Pips, yeah.
500,000 transaction in 3 weeks. Not to mention that there were people like fighting over invite codes, or I don't know,
Yeah,
scrambling.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
they were literally, I think someone said he was like willing to get his daughter kidnapped, or I don't know. I don't know if that's right. But someone was willing to put his daughter up for sale for an invite code. So that's high signal. Good job.
Yeah, it was funny. It was funny, and a lot of people think we're doing the invite code thing because we're trying to be like, we're trying to give an advantage to early e-commerce or stuff like that, and that's like not the true at all. And actually, I'm very proud of the mechanism we built because it doesn't give a huge advantage to people who are early. It's more that like we were not expecting this level of growth, and so many things are breaking, like like we didn't like our top users are opening literally 1,000 streams, like 1,000
Wow.
streams. So our page was not like the protocol can handle that. The protocol's fine, but the app is not expecting you to open 1,000 streams. It
Yeah.
wasn't built for that, because like if you think about it, so sorry, maybe I'll just kind of give a very, very brief intro to the Alfafrens, just so people have to Google one thing less.
That would be nice.
Alfafrens is basically a social app where you can access private channels of Farcaster people. So anyone on Farcaster can join. You log in with Farcaster, and then you can create a channel, and that is your kind of private chat. And if people want to join the private chats, they have to subscribe. And the subscription is a stream of Degen. So Degen is like this Farcaster token, right? So you put some tokens in the app, and then that gives you like a credit inside the app, and then streaming Degen to the channel gives you access to the channel. And that's great. Private chats, things like Patreon, OnlyFans, FriendTech, that's kind of the model that people are kind of familiar with. But where things get a bit more exciting with Alfafrens is that by opening a stream of Degen, you actually earn a different token, which is called Alpha. So Alpha is the reward token of the platform, and you have to claim it. So it accrues, and you claim it once a day. And then by staking Alpha, so you stake Alpha on a channel. So for example, imagine I subscribe to your channel, I start earning Alpha, but then I want to stake on the channel of an influencer, right? So I take that Alpha, I go stake it on this influencer, and by staking it, I receive cashback, which is a percentage of that channel's income.
What?
So yeah, so if that channel grows, you earn their income, right? So Alpha is like this reward token that gives you money, right? So people are basically, streaming, and then, they see their money go up and down. And when you open streams, your balance starts going down. But when you receive cash back, right, if you kind of stake on the right channels, your balance starts going up. And that's really exciting, right? Because then you're earning every second. If that makes sense.
Wild. So you basically have to find the people that you think are going to pop, or the people you think are hot and
Exactly.
are going to get popular, bet on them, get rich. Just jokes. This
Kind
is
of.
not financial
Kind of.
advice, but
I mean, I don't know if you're gonna get rich, but to be honest, people are that's why I'm saying it's really good for us for validation for Superfluid because even people who are making like $100 in passive income are so happy about it, you know.
Yeah.
Like, well, if you're buying shit coins, you're kind of looking for 1000x, but on Alpha, you can put in 20, you can get started with $20 and then, maybe make $100 in passive income just by, chatting to people. And that's like, really easy to do, very low barriers of entry. And yeah, so far, I mean, we've got, I think about 9,000 users at the moment, something like that.
Wow.
Which is not many because we've been very slow at giving out invite codes, but it's a good number and they're very active. Like some of our users are literally opening the app 20 times a day. Like it's crazy. Some of the chats are incredibly active. Um, and yeah, it's been a very, very exciting experience.
Damn. So it's not a scam.
I hope not.
No,
I
no,
hope
no.
so.
It's really. Hey, I mean, I'm curious where most of your users are. Like, do you know geographically where they're distributed? I think that's something really special about, like, if you ask a crypto founder where their users are,
Yeah,
it's not really your usual like app users, right?
no, totally. That's true. So actually, I think English is still the major language in the app, just kind of for convenience. But our users actually are a mix of, I'd say, 30% Koreans. I forget,
Koreans,
I told you about this. Yeah, 30% Koreans. Farcaster
our
has
own
a
land.
huge, yeah, Farcaster has a huge Korean audience, and there were a couple of guys from Korea who found our app when we launched and got on board, and they've been onboarding everyone. So it's really cool. There's a bunch of channels that I can't like I don't know what they're about, right? So yeah,
Sounds like my
30%
people.
exactly. 30% Koreans. Then I'd say about probably maybe 20% Spanish, Spanish speaking, right? Don't know exactly from where. And then probably about 15% Japanese.
Okay.
Um, and the rest is English. I haven't actually seen any channels in any other languages. So yeah. But and then subscribe, I try to kind of subscribe to everyone to kind of have a feel of what the app's about. But yeah, a lot of people are speaking in English for sure.
Okay, cool. That the Korean thing is interesting and makes me happy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Koreans
It
are
makes me
crazy
happy
in a
too.
good way.
I want to go to Korea now. Like,
Um,
it's so good.
cool. I wanted to ask the blue mascot of Alfafrens, whose brain baby is that? Because I feel like when I look at that logo, he looks into my soul. So, what's his name?
I feel the same way. I feel the same way. So we have two mascots. I'm gonna talk about both of them very
Oh,
quickly. So our official mascot and logo is called Spiky Boy, and
okay.
he is a boy with spikes. It's this like kind of blue spiky head emoji looking thing.
Yeah.
Who's very fun, and it's a pleasure to have on your home screen. And we'll soon probably do kind of stickers as well. So yeah, they're all
Can I put
very
a
very fun.
suggestion in for a plushie?
Oh my God, I love plushies. So actually, one of our Korean guys already made a bunch of swag, and
No.
so it's really funny because this guy's his handle is Gym Rat, right? So he posts photos of him in the gym, he's like, oh, this is my routine, stuff like that. And then he made these stickers for Alpha Friends, which are literally Spiky Boy, but ripped.
No.
It's so good. It's so
No.
good. Yeah, it's really, really good. So I need to go to Korea just to pick up one of these stickers because it's hilarious.
My gosh.
Um,
Okay, that's great. Who's the other
but
one?
yeah,
I don't think I've seen the other one. I think it's just Spiky Boy
yeah.
that looks into my soul.
So there's another mascot which is unofficial, which is a meme coin that was launched on Alfafrens by one of our top guys, top channels, which is called Bleu, like blue but spelled the French way.
Blue.
Uh, Bleu, exactly. And it's a blue elephant. So yeah, he's cute, but not safe for work. So not gonna
Oh,
probably shouldn't
really?
share it now.
I'm curious. Hold on.
Yeah, it's a very funny meme with a very funny origin story, and it's
Oh. Oh, I think I get
yeah.
it. But let me make a note. Look up
Um,
blue elephant.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, so that's kind of the unofficial kind of meme coin that's currently being talked about in the Alpha Friends chats.
I see. And
Coincidentally,
why,
also blue.
like, why did you come up with Spiky Boy? Like, how does that relate to Alpha Friends?
That's our designer, Joanna. I mean, she designed this whole thing. I mean, I don't know, like what goes on in the mind of a designer. Like we're
I'm
like,
obsessed.
we need something fun and approachable, and just she came up with actually, I think about 50 versions of Pikey Boy, and we're like, wow, this is such a good meme because it kind of looks like an emoji, right? So you can, it's very good for like the social environment. Uh,
Yeah,
and but it's not just Pikey Boy, like the whole design of the app, like I'm obsessed with it.
I
The
love it.
colors, the kind of these full colors and then the kind of pattern backgrounds, and I mean it's really cool, and she did a really good job. And she's not a brand designer, she's a product designer, right? So it's kind of slightly outside of her normal kind of skill set. So yeah, we're super proud of the design. Yeah, big ups for John, and go join her channel on Alpha.
Yeah, she understood the assignment. Where I was trying to get at was like, I wonder like what was the brief? Like, okay, but now it's like fun, approachable, bull, spiky boy, amazing,
Yeah.
amazing,
So
Joanna.
I'll tell you what, for Alpha Friends, we used a very, very different approach to kind of the engineering process, because like we're a protocol company, right? So protocol, you have to be very deliberate, top down, spec, design, and then build, kind of in that order, and it has to be very, very regimented. But we did some kind of internal hackathons, and we saw that our team, if you put them in a room and don't really tell them what to do, they come up with some crazy stuff. So that's more or less how Alpha Friends happened. We just kind of gave, loose indications. We had a lot of kind of brainstorming sessions, and then it just kind of came together. So,
Yeah.
I can't take credit for writing the brief because there was no brief. We were like, we're doing this, and she like, okay, Spiky Boy, amazing. That works.
I love that.
I did influence the decision on the name because there wasn't. We almost called it Only Friends. I'm like,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
yeah,
I wonder
but I'm
what the
glad we did
mascot
it.
would have been. Maybe Blue Elephant would have been the mascot for Only Friends.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, no, I'm glad we didn't because, the immediate mind association is, oh, okay, it's one of those platforms. So yeah, yeah, I'm glad I had to veto that one, but I'm glad I did. Alpha Friends is a much better name. So yeah, that's
No,
where
it's
we're at.
great. The with the F in the alpha and the, without the ID in friends, very
Yeah,
crypto native, I must say. It's interesting how you're saying like it's super different building a protocol versus a social app because they're both products that people use, except they take up very different mind space and like I guess processes to come to this, I don't know, final product. Yeah, that was it. That was my observation.
no, it's true. It's a completely different. I mean, uh, yeah, completely different, and we're honestly still learning on the app side. We've been building protocol for a very long time, and building a protocol is all about. It's like a lot of people always say, it's like building hardware, right? Because you can't really change it that much, and can't recall. You know, like when Elon Musk figures out that his car, there's a bug in the cars and they're all going to burn, and he sends a
Yeah.
software update. I mean, you can kind of do that with smart contracts, but not really, right? And that's why in a lot of cases it's more like building cars or hardware. Apps are different. Apps are software, and they're building it on top of the protocol. So if it breaks, if the protocol breaks, you're in trouble. But as long as the protocol kind of works, you can focus on more abstracted things, I guess. I don't know if that makes sense,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's very
It
it's very
doesn't
different
right
mindset.
now, but I get the gist.
Okay. All right. Sorry, I'm gonna be off for a second, but you can keep talking.
Love it. Is this the famous bathroom break? Oh. Oh, boom. When do I get me one of
Talking about
those?
it. You have to go to ETH Denver 2024.
Okay. How do I get there?
Uh,
Can Alfafrens do something?
No, because ETH Denver 2024 was 3 months ago, so you're out of luck.
Yeah, but can
So
Alfafrens? No.
do more? No, no, no. So what happened is we actually launched Alpha Friends twice. So I like telling this story because we launched Alpha Friends at ETH Denver, so in February, and it was a good year. Like there were things that we didn't quite polish, but the mistakes were it was on the wrong network. We were using ETH as the main currency, and we were using Twitter as the social layer. Okay,
Okay.
and then when we launched in April, what we did is we moved it to Base. We moved from Twitter to Farcaster, and we moved from ETH to DGen as the kind of main token, right?
Okay.
And those three pivots made a huge difference. Like it completely changed because the first launch we did, we had 10 users, and we were basically
Oh, wow.
begging them to use the app, you know. But then as soon as we made these three changes, deployed on Farcaster, completely different experience. So yeah, the hats are from the first launch.
So you had Spiky Boy in the first launch, and
We
now he's
did.
a star.
He survived.
Um,
He survived.
okay. So you mentioned you're a PWA. Like, let's talk about, I guess, like tech now that we're here. Do you think you'll be migrating from a PWA into like a full-blown native app if you get, I mean, given the volume and traction, or like are you pretty happy with how it's doing?
I'm pretty happy with it. I'm not sure why we would do that. I mean, some things would probably work a bit better with load fast or whatever, but like honestly, I hate the kind of app store model. I think it's stupid, and generally speaking, one of the reasons people build in crypto and use decentralized protocols is to avoid the third-party dependencies, right? And app stores are more than a third-party dependency, right? An app store is like a landlord, right? They can kick you out,
Do you think?
and it's not even like it's not like a landlord, because if they kick you out of your house, you can rent a different one. If they kick you out of the app store, there's no other app store. You know, you're out. So you have
Yeah.
to play by the rules, and you have no say in the rules, and it's not a good model for builders, because it severely constrains what you can do. And for an app like ours, I don't think the distribution benefits are worth it, right? Like if you're building a mobile game, you need to be on the App Store, and you need to optimize for App Store distribution, because that's how you get 1 million users. In our case, our users discover us on the Farcaster. They've already they've already got a Farcaster ID, so they kind of are crypto pilled already. And the couple of hoops they need to jump through to use the app are not going to stop them if they really want to do it. So yeah, I see no reason basically to move away from PW.
All right. That makes sense. Question for you being on Farcaster Rails. I love Farcaster. I love the people on there. I think it's I'm very bullish. Some people might argue no. For example, there's also the lens ecosystem. Like, what is your thoughts on expansion in terms of reaching other social protocols or layers?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So we were actually early on Lens. So I was, posting on Lens. We did a hackathon with Lens. We were building stuff together with the Lens team. I think there were a few design decisions on Lens that were not the right ones, honestly. Like it was too on-chain. It was too opinionated too soon. And the ownership of the client, basically the clients were all decentralized, right? And owned by different community members, which is great theoretically, but it's not great practically. And even though, for example, we were extremely committed to build basically almost what we built. So we wanted to do gated content. So you would stream content, you would stream tokens to get access to gated content on Lens. But, it's just that for a lot of different reasons, it was so hard to do it on Lens. And Farcaster is much
Yeah.
looser. In a lot of senses, we're not really using Farcaster that much. Like we are using IDs from Farcaster, right? Like user identities and profiles. And we're using Farcaster for distribution. So we publish on Farcaster, we have frames on Farcaster, but that's it. Like we don't have to use anything else. On Lens,
Yeah.
because of how on-chain and opinionated it was, we needed to really integrate with their contracts and build some, pretty sophisticated integrations. So the lift was much, much higher. That said, I've stopped following, so I don't know if that's changed. And I know that they just announced a Lens Hub, I think they're calling it, kind of new L2 solution.
Yeah. Like literally, I think it was like 2 days ago that yesterday they had their space.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what it ensues, but maybe they are also trying to get a little more modular. Yeah.
You know what they say, right? There's very few problems that can't be solved by launching a new blockchain, right? So
Who says that?
No one says that. VCs say that.
No one ever. You can also substitute that with token, meme coin.
You can.
All of the above. Why
all
not?
of the problems can be solved by launching a new chain, token, or meme coin, and that's why in crypto we have a lot of chains, tokens, and meme coins, because they solve problems. People don't understand this. The whole point of entrepreneurship is solving problems, right?
Yes.
Launching a new chain, launching a new token solves a problem.
Yeah.
That's why we do it. We just don't know what the problem is.
And the best part is, exactly, you didn't even know you had this problem, but it solved it for you.
It solved it. That's why we do it.
Yeah. I feel good about it.
I'm bullish. I mean, honestly, I don't know if you remember this, but when Lens launched, they were posting everything on chain on Polygon.
Yes. And you have to sign
ridiculous.
every message. I remember.
Yeah,
that was wild.
And then first you were signing every message, then you delegated your signing to a centralized signer, basically, who signed for you. I mean, it was so unnecessary, basically. Like the whole thing was too on-chain. Like some things don't need to be on-chain, like no one's gonna try and steal my GM on Lens protocol. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that's something people need to like get that into their head. There is such a thing as too on-chain.
And building on-chain is harder. It's a lot harder. It's much easier to build stuff off-chain. And that's why Farcaster moves faster, and they're able to innovate a bit faster and focus on what's actually important in a social network, which is getting people on board, right?
Exactly.
And that's, important.
It definitely doesn't sound as sexy, like saying, yeah, we're like 100% on-chain. Like that's the flex these days, right? But that's like the flex that no one really cares about at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's true. And we made the same, well, I mean, I wouldn't call it a mistake, but we kind of moved in a similar direction. So Alfafrens is fully on chain, right? not the chat, but
Right.
all the streams, the cashback, the tokens, that's all on chain, and as a result, it's pretty expensive. Like our account abstraction setup. So the app is fully account abstracted, which we're very proud about. Like users transfer degen and then they pay gas in degen, and it's fully kind of abstracted.
Nice.
In total, users have spent over 100 ETH already in 3 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah. So, doing stuff on chain is expensive, and that is basically going straight to the wallet of Base. It's not mainnet. It's not mainnet, right? On mainnet, those 100 ETH would be burnt. On Base, they
Yeah.
go to the sequencer, which is Coinbase, right? So, yeah.
Cha-ching base.
Yeah, exactly. Remember when they sponsored that Frames hackathon, and they were stingy about buying us pizzas? It's the
I'm
same base.
traumatized.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they put out that ad about pizza, like coming super easily. And I was just thinking back to that one day we tried to get pizza here. I mean, to be fair, that wasn't a crypto thing. I guess it was an Argentina thing, but that was just that was a horrible experience. Base, I'm gonna probably get you back
Yeah,
for
man.
that with another
That was
pizza
funny.
someday.
I talked to them
Um,
about it during Farcon, actually.
ah!
I gave them some beef for that because it was a funny way of starting a conversation. But yeah, building stuff on chain is expensive. I'm curious to see what Lens does. And to your previous question about expanding there, we're very close with the team at OneSide, which is like the social token for Lens. And I really like those guys. They've been part of the Superfluid community for years, actually, some of them.
Oh wow.
And I'd love to work with them, but we just have to figure out. There's one app called Favor. If you want to try it out, it's
Yeah.
spelled PH with PH, right? PHAVER. I met
Yeah.
the founder in Farcon, and they basically support both, and they kind of mix and match posts. So you can kind of so if you make a post, it gets posted to both Lens and Farcaster. And then if users reply, you can reply to both, but different users from different networks won't be able to see each other's messages,
Okay. Oh, interesting.
right?
Okay.
So it's a bit
Right.
messed up.
Yeah. Have you used Yup? Like Yup combines everything.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, of course. But that's only for posting, right? The really hard thing is
right, right, right.
when you start having comments, and because as the person who starts the post, you can post it on Twitter, Facebook, whatever, right? But then the comments are individual in individual places. So what Favor's doing is they're trying to unify all of that for you as the poster, so you can see all the replies in the same place.
Oh, wild.
But honestly, it's messy.
It
It's
sounds
messy. I
hard.
mean, I don't know. But yeah, look, it would be good if there were only one platform, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We're not excluding anything, and ultimately we just want to provide the best experience for our users. We'll see.
Speaking of user experience, like if someone were to get onboarded to Alfafrens, give them like one, two, three, like a 1, 2, 3 step of like how to get started, how to have fun, how to get rich.
Uh, I guess so. The first thing you do is you download the app. You need well, you don't even have to download it. You go to alphafrens.com. You need an invite link. To get an invite link, you basically have to go on social media and beg people. Offer
Sell your
them
soul.
whatever you have. Sell your soul, your daughter. The naming rights for your firstborn child. Whatever you have, basically. Get an invite code, then go to alphafriends.com, put in your invite code, put in some funds. So we recommend 2,000 degen, but you can put more or less. It's up to you. And then you got to go and subscribe to some channels. So it's up to you really what you want to subscribe to. Obviously, my channel is the best, right? But there are other channels out there. Kelly has a channel too. You can find Kelly's channel.
I have no
Um,
subscribers, but it's still the
you have no,
best.
I'm sure I'm subscribing, right? I hope I'm subscribed.
I don't know.
Um,
Look,
no. But then I actually recommend creating a channel. Like if you create a channel, people will subscribe. But that's it's a bit weird. In Alpha Friends, how this works is that because of the way Alpha is this reward token, if you use Alpha properly, people will join your channel, even if you're not famous or you're not an influencer or whatever, right? So before I mentioned Jim Rat, right? He's our top Korean user. He's I think top 3 or top 4 in all of our users, right? Like this
Yeah.
guy, I was his first follower on Twitter. He had
Oh,
0
wow.
followers on Twitter, okay? But he had 2,000 subscribers on Alfafrens. So you don't need to have a pre-existing following.
Wow.
So the way you do this is you subscribe to a lot of channels, earn a lot of alpha, stake it on your own channel. And when you stake it on your own channel, people will join your channel to earn alpha.
Okay.
And that's where you can start, a flywheel of growing your channel and growing your audience. And then you just have to keep your audience engaged, right? So it's really cool, actually. There's a lot of channels. These are channels I would subscribe to. So there's channels by artists who give you like weekly NFTs. So they'll just airdrop NFTs to people who subscribe to them, which is really cool. There's another channel I recommend is actually called DGen Fans. And if you subscribe to DGen Fans, you can then use a bunch of frames on Farcaster, which are only available to subscribers. And
Ooh.
that's a really cool example of Alfafrens being used as a SaaS platform, right?
No way.
So that's really cool. And, his frames allow you to share your stats basically at the moment. But he's got some really cool ideas for other stuff that he's going to build. And yeah, I mean, then it's all about making noise, right? So keep posting in your own channel and make noise on Farcaster. So go to the Alfafrens channel, talk about your channel, talk about the kinds of content you're posting, talk about the kinds of people you would like to subscribe to. Subscribing to channels at Alfafrens feels very cheap. It's not free, obviously, right? You are spending money, but that money is streamed, right? And that makes a huge difference because, so for example, I'm subscribed to 100 channels. Channels on average cost 1,000 DGen a month, right? So, and here we go back to streaming and the whole kind of money works differently with streams kind of thing. But channels cost 1,000 DGen a month. I have 100 channels, right? Simple math. I should have 100,000 DGen in my wallet, right?
Okay.
I don't. I've got now I got a bit more, but I had 3,000 until recently, right? Now, why is that possible? How is that happening? So the reason that's possible is because it's streamed, you're not paying 1,000 DGen. You're paying 1,000 DGen broken into seconds, right? So you're paying that every second. And at the same time, your income from your channel, so people subscribing to you, and also your income from cashback. So when you stake alpha, that's also streamed, right? So you have all this incoming stream and the outgoing stream, and those balance each other, which
Yeah.
means, you're spending money, but you're also receiving money every second. So you don't need to have 100,000 DGen. You just need to have enough to keep those streams going, as long as your cash flow is positive, right? So the whole game of Alfafrens is earn more than you spend, right? So you start off, you need to spend a bit more, earn the alpha, stake the alpha, and then hopefully your income is higher than the amount you're spending.
That's the game of life too. Earn more than
Exactly.
you spend. Burn more than you consume. That's the secret to success,
every
everyone.
second. Every second.
Every
It's like
second.
life.
Do certain types of content do better? Like, for example, if I started a channel called like Feet and like posted me like wriggling my feet.
Yeah. So we've actually, one of our oldest channels is a feed channel. It's not that original.
Damn it.
But it's a cat feet channel. So it's like got the double whammy, it's cats.
Yeah, I
and the
can't
feet of
compete.
it's feet of cats. So you can't win. There's actually now another channel for cats. So cat content wins. But we knew that. Like it's always been the case on the internet, right? Cat content is. What else? I mean, there's channels that give actual alpha. Like I buy this, I buy that. occasionally do that. I don't trade that much, but when I do, I tell it to my followers. There are a few channels that are really cool from builders. So like there's Corbin.eth, who's building a bunch of games on the Farcaster frames, and he's talking about them. That's really cool. There's
Ooh.
honestly, there are a lot of people who talk about Alfafrens on Alfafrens, which it's good if you're
So
looking for
meta.
strategies.
Yeah.
Exactly, it's very meta. But there's a guy who invented a strategy, and the strategy is called the Taimo Boost because his name is Taimo, so like he made it popular. Then there's channels in Korean, so I'm assuming that they're talking about Korean things, but I wouldn't know. I
I'll
follow a
find out.
channel. I follow a channel actually, a Japanese guy who posts photos of soba noodles.
That's so
Sorry, it's,
bad.
it, yeah. Alfafrens is a very eccentric place, and yeah, every niche finds its place on Alfafrens.
I need to find one. And it can't be feet, you said. Can't be cats. Can't be soba.
Yeah.
Maybe my elbow. I don't know. What do you think?
Weren't you
No.
doing a series about bakeries? I would do that. I would
Yeah,
pay
but
for
isn't
that.
that too, like, basic? Okay. Fuck it. I'm gonna do it. It's gonna be false. Ding, ding, ding. I don't know.
Yeah,
I have
think
to think
about it.
about it.
Yeah, you need a catchy name, and then you
Yeah.
need to stake off on that channel to get it growing. We're
Yeasty.
also
Oh, no.
getting yeasty. Oh my God. Yes,
No. No.
yes, yes. Call it yeasty Kim or yeasty Kelly
Oh
Kim.
my
Yeasty
God.
Kelly. I would sub.
No.
I would sub.
That belongs on OnlyFriends, I think.
But yeah, I was gonna say, like, we recently started getting some brands that created channels, which is really cool. Like, companies in the space, mostly out like Farcaster brands. But their channels are doing quite well. They post product updates. It's a good place to do you can think of your Alfafrens channel as it's like an AMA channel because
Okay.
people can't talk to each other. They can only talk to you. So
Wow.
yeah, so
It's
it's
like a
like an
private
always
chat.
on AMA. But your posts are public. So if I go to my channel and I write something, all of my subscribers can read it. But then if
Okay.
you come to my channel and you post something, only I can see it
Right.
until I reply to you. So when I reply to you, then everyone can see that comment.
Got it. That's good. Is it good? Well, like,
It's
what if you
it's
just ignore everyone and then they're just like put on red?
oh, I mean you
It's a
you
thing.
can, right? And I try to reply to everyone, but sometimes there's just too many messages, so guilty as charged. But it's good
Yeah.
because otherwise the chats would be very messy.
Right.
This keeps
What
the
are you
chats
using for
very
chat?
clean. We built our own.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, building's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Especially when you can build your own stuff and just like, I don't know, customize it.
So, well, I mean that's interesting, right? Because like we are using Farcaster profiles, right? But we're not technically using their social graph at the moment, although we plan to integrate it. So you can think of Alfafrens as a
Oh,
kind of parallel social graph. So,
right.
the social graph's the definition is like the channels, the people you follow, right? So I follow you, you follow me. Maybe I follow you, but you don't follow me. And then, this kind of graph of people following each other. Um,
Uh, right.
Alfafrens is similar, right? So like I subscribe to you, but maybe you don't subscribe to me, right? And in some cases, maybe I don't even have a channel. You don't have to create a channel to use the app, right? Um, so ours is like a fully on-chain paid social graph, right? Where money in the social graph is always flowing, right? So if you subscribe to someone, you can think of it as a follow. You are paying them, right?
Hmm.
And then obviously there's the cashback, so there's all this kind of money moving around. But ignore that for a second, and
Yeah.
basically what you have is a fully on-chain paid social graph, which is parallel to Farcaster. As I said, there are a few things that we plan to do to incorporate the Farcaster social graph into Alfafrens beyond just identity. So things like, suggesting, hey, maybe you want to subscribe to these people because you follow them on Farcaster or, things like that. So
Ooh.
recommendations. but also the opposite. Maybe there are some products in the Farcaster ecosystem that are starting to think of, hey, what if we used the Alfafrens social graph for dating, right? So, for example, there's a project called Channel X, which has built a prototype of a Farcaster channel, right? Not an Alfafrens channel, a Farcaster channel, where you can only post if you subscribe to the channel.
Oh,
Yeah.
to the Farcaster channel or the Warpcast. Is it like Warpcast
No,
channel?
no. So you define a wallet, right? And then if you open a stream through Superfluid to that wallet,
Okay.
you can post in the Warpcast channel, right? Now,
Oh,
so they're reusing Superfluid on Farcaster, if that makes sense, right? And we're also talking to Farhouse. I don't know if you've heard of Farhouse. It's like a Clubhouse. So
no,
like
I've never heard of them.
Twitter Spaces, Twitter Spaces for Farcaster, basically. They
Wait, I
just
think
launched.
yeah, I saw this. I don't know they were called Farhouse, but it was I
Yeah.
saw it and I thought it was a really good idea.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're talking to them to have basically rooms where you can only join if you are a subscriber for example, I'm hosting this room on Farhouse. You can only join if you're subscriber of my Alfafrens channel.
Gosh,
Does that
every
make sense?
yeah, I mean it's there's like everyone's building something for everyone, right? In that ecosystem.
Yeah, I mean,
It's kind of cute.
it's
Like
the
it's
evolution of
nice.
token gating, right?
Yeah, like token gate
Yeah,
this to token gate that,
everybody wants to be friends with Sparky Boy, basically.
obviously. Cool. Wait. So, I mean, you've just finished out, like, you've just come back from FarCon, excited, even more. What are these next 2 months? No, not even. Like, time flies in this space. So, what's in store this month for Alfafrens and or Superfluid, or even like this year? Like, what are the milestones you want to hit?
So I'm not going to talk about Superfluid right now because it's kind of more under wraps at the moment. But for Alpha Friends, we're very much building in public, so I can share a few things. So there are some bug fixes that we need to make in order to avoid too many issues as we scale. As I mentioned, we're kind of onboarding a ton of users and stuff is breaking all the time. So there's a few bug fixes that we're rolling out. After that, I think one of our main focuses is going to be to help users make their chats more fun, and at the same time help good content surface in the app, right? So right now, even if you have amazing content, there's not really any way for me to find out unless
Right.
somebody recommends to you, right? Like the app doesn't allow for content discovery. It only allows for like, oh, this channel has a lot of subscribers. And then you're like, okay, it must be good, right? But that's it, right? You don't have much to go off before making a decision to subscribe. So we want to improve that. And we have some pretty good ideas, I think. There's also some frames that we're working on, which are going to be a lot of fun. So that's going to be good. And that will allow us to kind of, you'll have some very, very easy ways to promote your channel on Farcaster. Take your channel, take take pieces of that to Farcaster and get people to engage and get people to subscribe from there. That's exciting. And apart from that, there are, a lot of kind of small things that people asked us for. So, for example, I mentioned there's people like even I'm subscribed to 100 chats. It's very hard to access all of them and remember which ones are my favorites. So things like pinned chats or categories and better labeling, all sorts of stuff like that basically is in the works. But yeah,
Nice.
a lot of things.
Exciting times. LFG, Alpha Friends. I'm gonna get on
Yeah,
there. I'm gonna start posting some bread.
I think you yeasty can
My God.
put
Yeah.
the put your description in Korean. The Oreo John.
That's like that's the word for bread in Korean. It's amazing. And bang can also mean like bang. So that's actually perfect.
I like that. I
Yeah.
like that.
So all my listeners, subscribe to Bang. Bang Bang
Uh,
Yeasty.
I like that. I would subscribe. I would subscribe. You should post in Korean too. People love that.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Here goes the start of my Korean influencer career.
Yeah.
Korean
There you go.
influencer career.
Career.
Sweet.
Exactly. Yeah, there's
It's
actually if you go to Farcaster, a webcast, you'll find there's like 5 different channels for Alfafrens. Obviously, there's the official one, but then there's also a Korean channel. Yeah, which is all in Korean. I have no idea what they're talking about. A Spanish channel, a Japanese channel, a channel for artists, and the official one.
well, I can join I think 3 of those and like
There you
kind of
go.
understand. So, oh cool. You guys are killing it. Well, this was a great chat. I learned so much about Alpha Friends. Really.
Yeah, can't wait
Including
to
how
see
to
you
get
on
rich.
there. Yeah,
Sweet. Thank
get
you
rich.
so much. And actually, where can people find you? Like, what? Alpha Friends? Where can people reach you the best?
Well, subscribe to my channel on Alfafrens for preferential treatment, or follow me on Workcast. I'm 0x Fran on Workcast. Or you can find me on Twitter as well. If you write 0x Fran, I should show up.
Sweet. I'll
Yeah,
drop
I don't
those
post much on
somewhere.
Twitter anymore.
No, you've migrated to the on-chain side. Well, like sufficiently decentralized side.
I've migrated to the purple app. Indeed, it's better.
Where we should all be, right?
Yeah,
Alrighty.
I think so. All right.
Francesco,
Well,
thank you
thanks
so much.
thanks for the opportunity to chat, and yeah,
Thank you.
join
It was
Alpha
super fun.
Friends.
Woo!